सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखः भवेत् अतोऽहं न काम्ये राज्यं न स्वर्गं न पुनर्भवम् आमे दुःखदातानां प्राणिनां आत्मनाशिनां. Please be seated. Thank you. Now I welcome you all for the fourth morning CME of this session, and I would like to give the charge to Dr. P.C. Shai, our Scientific Secretary, to conduct this session.
One of the most common complaints every GP encounters in daily practice is white discharge for vagina. While in many cases it's a normal physiological process, at times it may indicate underlying infection, hormonal imbalance, or even more serious pathology. As a general practitioner, the challenge before us is to differentiate normal from abnormal so that we neither overtreat simple cases nor miss red flags conditions that need specialist attention. This subject is extremely relevant for all of us because it combines day-to-day clinical practice with the responsibility of guiding women patients correctly, reducing anxiety and ensuring timely referral when required. To throw light on this vital issue, we are privileged to have with us Dr. Akriti Gupta, MBBS, MS in Obstetrics and Gynecology from Lady Hardinge Medical College, New Delhi. Dr. Gupta's skills span across the entire spectrum of reproductive medicine, from fertility counseling, tailored stimulation protocols, and ultrasound guided ovum pickups to embryo transfer. Advanced sperm preparation techniques like TESA and PESA, as well as platelet-rich plasma therapy and embryo glue. Over the years, he has successfully managed complex reproductive health conditions, including endometriosis, recurrent miscarriages, menstrual disorders, PCOD, uterine anomalies. With her wealth of experience and compassionate care, Dr. Akriti Gupta is truly dedicated to providing comprehensive fertility solutions tailored to each patient's need. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Akriti Gupta with a huge round of applause.
Good morning everyone. Thank you Sahi sir and Anish sir for giving me opportunity to present something on white discharge. Before knowing the pathological causes of white discharge, we should know what is normal and physiological white discharge. So basically normal vaginal discharge is because of the some secretions from vagina, cervix, endometrial glands and rest glands like Bartholin, sweat and sebaceous glands and skinny glands, which make a physiological discharge coming from vagina. It is increased during few times of the menstrual phase, like ovulation time. The discharge, vaginal discharge becomes like egg white. Particular this kind of discharge history will the patient give during ovulation phase. It will again increase during premenstrual phase as second wave of hormonal FSH levels are increased, that leads to discharge. Thirdly, in pregnancy, hormonal changes occurs which leads again to increased physiological discharge, and last is during sexual excitement or due to some medicines. So basically normal vaginal discharge is of mixed type, which is having mostly aerobic organisms, and the most common of which is lactobacilli. If lactobacilli is normally present in the vaginal discharge, then it's normal, and the pH of the normal vagina is towards acidic, which is maintained. Normal vaginal discharge is floccular in consistency, white in color, usually located in the dependent part of the vagina, and it has got no odor or foul smell or no itching or such kind of things. Pathological, which coming to pathological vaginal discharge, it could be mainly because of vaginitis or cervicitis or few causes, other causes which are rare, like foreign bodies, neoplasm or urinary and fecal discharge. So I will be covering basically vaginitis and cervicitis. So vaginitis will be caused by candidal infection, bacterial vaginosis, trichomoniasis, and cervicitis is mainly caused by Neisseria gonorrhea and chlamydia infection. So this will be covered in detail. Coming to bacterial vaginosis. So how to know about bacterial vaginosis infection in a normal female who is complaining of vaginal discharge? So basically the lactobacilli is being altered with the overgrowth of predominantly anaerobic bacteria, and it can result from a few causes like frequent intercourse or vaginal douching or poor perineal hygiene. In diagnostic criteria, this is a AMSEL diagnostic criteria, but basically as a GP what we should know that the type of discharge is very important, that bacterial vaginosis is caused by Gardnerella vaginosis, and the secretions are grayish thin mucoid kind of thing with a fishy vaginal odor, that will be foul smell, pH being more than 4.5, and on microscopy if we go to diagnose, then we are going to see clue cells, which is typical of bacterial vaginosis infection. These clue cells are basically the vaginal epithelial cells surrounded by multiple bacteria. If we go for a WIP test, that is if we mix a drop of vaginal discharge with KOH, potassium hydroxide, then it will release a fishy amine-like odor, which is also particular of this bacterial vaginosis infection. Metronidazole is the drug of choice, and it blindly, if somebody is complaining of bacterial vaginosis, this kind of discharge, thin mucoid, having smell, then we can give metronidazole in the dose of 500 mg twice daily for 7 days, and it has got a very high cure rate. Another substitute is metronidazole in the form of gel applicator or intravaginal clindamycin cream. Probiotics we can always add as a add-on treatment because it has got lactobacilli. So that will lactobacilli concentration will increase, and that will also help in towards making normal vaginal discharge. Next is Trichomonas vaginitis. It is most prevalent non-viral sexually transmitted infection whose transmission rate is very high, and it has got 60% association with bacterial vaginosis. So sometimes if female is having vaginal discharge, she can have combination of Trichomonas infection as well as bacterial vaginosis, and these infections who are acquiring, they are at high risk of HIV also, because they are somehow in the immunosuppressive state also. So they are acquiring frequent infections. So this is the typical picture of vaginal cells, which are round cells, and in which we can see a trichomonads which has got a flagella on the top, which makes it very much motile. And this trichomonas infection, due to its motility, they can even go upside from vagina to cervix to uterus to fallopian tubes and cause infertility also. So in this picture we can typically see the vaginal discharge of trichomonas infections, and often they can be asymptomatic also, but with high inoculation they become symptomatic with malodorous, profuse, purulent vaginal discharge accompanied by vaginal itching. So itching is important in trichomonas infection. And if there is high concentration of organism, then we can see this typical picture of the cervix, which is strawberry cervix, and this is called as colpitis muscularis. On microscopy, if we go for investigations, then trichomonads will be seen an increased number of leukocytes. Clue cells, if they are present, they may be present because of its association with bacterial vaginosis, and that's why WIP test may be positive also in this case. Again, coming to its treatment, metronidazole is the treatment of choice, and both a single dose 2 gram orally or a multi dose, the same regimen as a bacterial vaginosis, that is 500 milligram for 7 days, is having a cure rate of around 95%. Another recommended regimen is tinidazole 2 gram orally in a single dose, and who don't respond to the initial therapy, they can again be put on the same therapy for again 7 days. We have got many pessaries also in the market which are having tinidazole, or kits we are getting in the market which has got a like tinidazole 2 gram or combination of drugs, which I will be telling later on. And the third cause of vaginitis is vulvovaginal. Third cause of vaginitis is candidiasis. It is said that 75% of the women have acquired this vulvovaginal candidiasis during their lifetime. This means this is very common. And Candida albicans is responsible for 85 to 95% of the vaginal yeast infection. pH of the vagina remains acidic only in this case. Factors predisposing to development of candidiasis is definitely immunosuppressive state, diabetes, excessive antibiotic use, pregnancy is again because it is also immunosuppressive state kind of. With symptoms, we can say again the candidal infection will lead to intense itching with particular cottage cheese or curdy white discharge. So curdy white discharge is very peculiar of, we can see here in the picture that this is very peculiar of candidal infection. If the infection is not treated, then it can further lead to vaginal soreness, dyspareunia, burning sensation in the vulva. Many patients can complain of the burning in the vagina, which is again a cause of candidal infection, and eventually leading to external dysuria, that is splash dysuria. They will feel the burning micturition when they will urinate. On examination, we will see erythema and edema of the labia and vulvar screen. They could be discrete pustulo-papular peripheral regions. The vagina may be on examination or per speculum examination, which anyways gynecologists are doing. They can see adherent white discharge in the vaginal wall also. So this is the typical picture, and normal candidal infection, if not untreated, then these can advance to these things like causing labial erythema, edema in the second picture. And in the first picture, we can see in potassium hydroxide preparation the pseudo hyphae are being seen, which is suggestive of fungal infection. Coming to its treatment, fluconazole is best. It works best in initial infection if given in a single dose of 150 milligram dose. Again, we can add on pessaries in the form of clotrimazole or cream or ointments with clotrimazole 1% cream. And other substitutes are miconazole 2% cream, or it's pessary kind of thing, or nystatin vaginal tablet also. But the best works is the antifungal fluconazole. If somebody is having recurrent vulvovaginal candidiasis, recurrent means 4 or more episodes in a year, then they have to be, then first thing is maybe they are getting infection from non-albicans candida species. There will be persistent irritative symptoms of the vestibule and vulva. The burning sensation replaces intense itching as the prominent symptom in the recurrent vulvovaginal candidiasis, and we can anyways diagnose by direct microscopy of the secretions by fungal culture. Treatment, we have to just increase the dose of fluconazole in the form of 150 milligram every 3 days for 3 doses, and followed by suppressive or maintenance dose of 150 milligram weekly for 6 months in recurrent cases. And always look for non-albicans candida, which can be a potential resistant to fluconazole, in which patients who are not getting treated by fluconazole. So this is the gist of whatever I told, that in vagina, main thing as a GP should know is the type of vaginal discharge. कैसा discharge आ रहा है आपको, white है या हल्का greyish है या दही जैसा है. In normal layman language, we can always ask. Foul smell, we can take the history, which is foul smell in trichomoniasis and fishy in bacterial vaginosis, and candidal infection will having no foul smell. On microscopy, for advanced cases, if not getting treatment, we can go for microscopy, which I already told, and treatment is the basic metronidazole 500 milligram BD for 7 days in bacterial vaginosis and trichomoniasis infection, and the infection will be treated. Always we can add probiotic and any pessary kind of things. For candida, I told fluconazole. Next is chlamydia and Neisseria I will be covering, because they are causing cervicitis. That means it is not vaginal infection, but cervix is getting infected and the discharge will be seen from the cervix. So chlamydia chlamydia and gonococcal infection often coexist, and they attack the columnar epithelium of the genital tract and the urethra. The important is it is not getting stuck to cervix. It can cause infection in male partners also. It can infect urethra also, urethritis, prostatitis, that I will covering in next. These are small gram negative intracellular bacteria. In men they can cause white clouded discharge, non-gonococcal urethritis, epididymitis. In women, again purulent mucopurulent vaginal discharge with symptoms of urinary tract also, that is dysuria, micturition, increased frequency of micturition, and at times they can advance, causing cervicitis. They can go up to urethra, up to uterus, causing endometritis, up to fallopian tubes, causing salpingitis, and they can also be associated with some syndromes. They can also cause adhesions near the liver, which is told as symptom Fischer-Curtis syndrome. Gonorrhea and chlamydia are the contributing factor when PID is associated with right upper abdominal pain. The chlamydia is also associated with Reiter syndrome with symptoms of arthritis, skin lesions, conjunctivitis, and genital infection. Coming to Neisseria infection, it is also a sexually transmitted disease. Gram-negative bacteria and vaginal squamous epithelium is resistant, as I already told, and they also attack the columnar epithelium, and gonorrhea ascends in a piggyback fashion attached to the sperms to reach the fallopian tubes. That means chlamydia and gonorrhea are contributing factor to infertility as well. So they needs to be treated, in especially those women who are not whose family is not complete. Clinical findings will be again similar, only with increased urinary frequency, dysuria, dyspareunia, vaginal discharge leading to inflammation, vaginal inflammation, discharge irritation causing pruritus and dysuria. In men, again, it can cause thick yellow discharge, dysuria, and if left untreated, then it can also lead to epididymitis, prostatitis. Again, epididymitis is a factor which can contribute in male infertility. This is the particular discharge of urethral discharge in male and cervical discharge in female. Coming to investigation on gram staining, there will be gram-negative bacteria. We can anytime take culture from urethra or cervix, and we can do complement fixation test and PCR staining. But the most sensitive is the nucleic acid amplification test from urine or endocervical discharge. Then if NAT is positive, then there is no need of culture. Coming to treatment regime, it is also similar treatment regime for gonococcal and chlamydia, in which we can give a single injection of ceftriaxone 250 mg plus azithromycin 1 gram orally in a single dose. If ceftriaxone, in the absence of this or any allergy, then we can add cefixime. In chlamydia, again the azithromycin 1 gram oral dose, and doxycycline 100 mg daily for 7 days. So in Neisseria, gonorrhea and chlamydia infection, we are seeing that apart from one cephalosporin, we are adding azithromycin 1 gram dose, which is working very well, and that's why in markets many kits are available in the name of fast 3 kit, which is having fluconazole 150 mg, azithromycin 1 gram, and secnidazole 2 gram. That is, the secnidazole is like can act as tinidazole only, which I told in previous slide. So these kits are working in both vaginitis and cervicitis. So we can anytime give, if the partner treatment also, that kit we can provide these kits to both male and female partner. Coming to syndromic approach, which is being followed in medical colleges. First, if anyone is coming to vaginal discharge, complaint of vaginal, we will see the character of discharge, associated symptoms, urinary symptoms, partner history, and then gynecs will do perispeculum examination or PV examination. We will rule out that it is vaginitis, cervicitis or PID. PID difference is in accordance with the infections. There will be uterine or cervical motion tenderness, but as a GP you should take always history of lower pain, abdominal pain to rule out PID. This is the NACO kit which is available in the medical colleges or CHC or PHC, in which kit 1 is for the cervicitis, kit 2 is for the vaginitis, kit 3 is for genital ulcer, syphilis, in which benzathymine penicillin is given in a single dose. Kit 4 is again for the syphilis, in which if there is resistant to or allergic to penicillin, then we can add doxycycline 100 mg BD for 14 days. And kit 6 is for PID. And kit 7 is for inguinal bubo, in which doxycycline 100 mg BD is given. And latest kit 8 is introduced, in which there is it is for anorectal discharge symptoms, which is doxycycline 100 milligram BD for 7 days and cefixime. So in short, few antibiotics are only required for treatment of vaginal discharge, that is doxycycline 100 mg BD, metronidazole 500 mg BD, fluconazole, azithromycin, secnidazole or tinidazole. These are the things which we have to classify according to the history, that which treatment needs to be which patients, and always partner treatment should be done. Along with that, few precautionary things should be explained to the patients, like maintaining perineal hygiene, safe sexual practices, avoiding douching or vagina or some scented items in the vagina, always wearing cotton panties or undergarments, and that should be thoroughly washed and should be dried in proper sunlight. These precautions we can anyway say to avoid these kind of infections. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Akriti, for wonderful and comprehensive, insightful presentation. Now I would like to request Dr. Naresh Agrawal sir to please come over here to conduct the quiz.
Light on करवा दो.
Dr. Akriti, आपको यहीं रहना होगा. So as usual, the first question will be from my right, the second question will be from left. There will be 5 questions. The fifth question will be the common, right? So you have to raise your hand. Dr. Naresh will select whom to answer. So the first question is, a 28-year-old woman presents with complaints of vaginal discharge as thick, white and curd-like, accompanied by intense itching and mild soreness of the vulva. On examination, there is erythema and edema of the labia with adherent white discharge on the vaginal walls. There is no significant odor. What is the most likely diagnosis? Just raise your hand. Just raise your hand. Option, you want to hear the options? Okay, just. So किसको आपने सेलेक्ट किया सर? आपको सेलेक्ट करना है सर? आंसर नहीं देना. किसको सेलेक्ट किया आपने सर? डॉक्टर अंजू मैम. अच्छा, so answer is Candida albicans. Just एक बार इसको elaborate कर दें.
Yeah, Candida albicans is the cause of, because in this question there is particular history of curdy white like discharge with no odor, with intense itching, and on the vaginal wall we can see that white discharge is stuck. So this is clearly Candida albicans.
And how will you treat?
Fluconazole 150 milligram single dose. If it is recurrent, then 150 milligram every 3 doses. Then on suppressive dose of weekly 150 milligram for 6 months.
Great. Big round of applause for Dr. Anju.
So any other alternative for as compared to fluconazole, if it is the patient is allergic to?
Itraconazole we can add 100 milligram BD for 14 days.
I will tell you one thing, candidiasis के साथ अक्सर bacterial infection भी होता है, तो we have to give pessaries also.
Yeah, pessaries we can.
You have to give,
Yeah. More, yeah, for itching that is symptomatic treatment. For itching we can give cetirizine, levocetirizine tablets. Pessaries we can add, because the pessary I told combination of clotrimazole plus tinidazole plus azithromycin, so that helps better in the treatment. Wash we can always add, because we never know what kind of things they are actually the females are using anything or not for the vaginal part. So if they are using any low quality soaps and all, then it's always better to maintain the pH with the vaginal V-wash solutions. Yes.
But my practical experience with the patients are, we wash बहुत अच्छा काम नहीं करता.
Ma'am.
Simple water wash.
Ma'am, you are right. In fact, I have also started telling my patients that आप normally if you use good kind of soaps like Dove soap आप use करो, आप वही use करो. We have also started, but क्या होता है कि अगर लो सोशो इकोनॉमिक स्टेटस के लोग हैं, क्या पता वो लाइफ बॉय यूज़ करे या समथिंग लाइक दैट, विच अगेन लीड्स टू ड्राइनेस. तो इस वजह से अगर वी कैन ऐड प्लस माइनस, बट नाउ वी आर प्रमोटिंग नॉर्मल गुड क्वालिटी सोप्स ऑल्सो.
And you drink the pasta as well?
Yes, ma'am. We should treat the partner as well, and we should always advise for barrier contraceptive also till the treatment, till the infection is getting treated.
Okay. So, second question is from my left. Which of the following bacteria is most common in the normal vaginal flora and produces hydrogen peroxide? There is a right answer. Big round of applause. और कोई फ्लोराज होते हैं?
Lactobacilli is the normal vaginal flora which are usually present, और यही lactobacilli जब replace हो जाता है anaerob से या other infection से, तो infection vaginal discharge होता है. And these lactobacilli maintain the pH acidic of the vagina, that is less than 4.5.
Third question is from my right. Recurrent vulvovaginal candidiasis is defined as having how many or more episodes in a year?
Madam Jaiswal.
हाँ, Dr. Jaiswal.
Madam, it's that.
Then 4.
4 is the right answer. Big round of applause. Can I get some before I speak?
Yeah, I already told कि 4 से ज़्यादा episodes हो रहे हैं, तो usually it happens like कभी होता है तो complete नहीं भी ठीक हुआ, then also they can again come with the same कि we can always, जैसे मैम ने पूछा, we can always replace also treatment like fluconazole का एक सब वो दे दिया maintenance dose. Apart from that initial treatment के लिए we can always add itraconazole also, that will help better. एंड समटाइम्स पार्टनर ट्रीटमेंट नहीं होता है तो उसकी वजह से भी इन्फेक्शन सही हुआ, एंड देन अगेन द फीमेल एक्वायर्ड द इन्फेक्शन ड्यू टू पार्टनर. सो दिस वी हैव टू सी.
So fourth question is from a left. Which testing method is considered 95% sensitive for diagnosing Neisseria gonorrhea? Option A, gram stain. Option B, culture on thyroid Martin medium, or is it C, NAT, nucleic acid amplification test, or is it option D, PCR test? Just raise your hand.
Dr. Agrawal.
दोनों डॉक्टर अग्रवाल हैं सर, आपको पूरा नाम बोलना पड़ेगा.
Dr. Ashok Agrawal.
Dr. Ashok. NAT is the right answer. Big round of applause.
कुछ और क्या कुछ पैप्स में वगैरह भी इसमें करते हैं किसी भी इस तरह के
एब्सटिनेंस
नहीं पैप स्मेयर्स वगैरह
पैप स्मेयर्स, हाँ अगर कोई पैप स्मेयर बेसिकली ये हर किसी फीमेल में करना चाहिए. इट्स नॉट लाइक कि किसी को विजाइनल डिस्चार्ज, ऑब्वियसली जब उनका डिस्चार्ज, जब दे आर आउट ऑफ दिस इन्फेक्शन वी कैन ऑलवेज एडवाइज फॉर पैप स्क्रीनिंग. बट इन 21 years एंड अबव वैसे भी इफ़ अ फीमेल इज कमिंग देन वी ऑलवेज एडवाइज पैप स्मेयर. बट दीज पेशेंट्स हु आर हैविंग विजाइनल डिस्चार्ज दे आर ऑलवेज एट हाई रिस्क ऑफ एक्वायरिंग सर्वाइकल कैंसर एंड ऑल इन फ्यूचर. सो वी शुड डेफिनेटली एडवाइज पैप स्मेयर एज अ जनरल स्क्रीनिंग modality. And we can also, yeah, as ma'am said, that we can always advise for vaccines which are available nowadays in the name of Sarvavac or vaccines and Gardasil.
What is the difference between CB-NAT and NAT?
CB-NAT is for genital, for tubercular lesions we have to go for CB-NAT, in which rifampicin resistance is seen, and if CB-NAT is positive then we can advise for ATT treatment, and this is nucleotide and nucleic acid amplification test which will be doing for particular these bacteria only.
Okay. So this is the last question. Open to all, yes. Trichomonas vaginalis is most commonly associated with which vaginal discharge characteristic? Option A, thick white cheese-like. Option B, thin watery greenish. Option C, the grayish malodorous discharge, or is it option D, no discharge?
Dr. Archana Sai.
Trichomonas vaginalis. Thin watery greenish yellow discharge? Yes, that's the right answer. Big round of applause.
जो डिफरेंट कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स हैं उनको एक बार एक्सप्लेन करते हैं.
So as already told, candida में cordate white discharge, and trichomoniasis में they will be having yellowish greenish discharge, and in bacterial vaginosis grayish milky and thin white discharge will be there.
ग्रेस किसका है?
Bacterial vaginosis.
Okay, that's all for the quiz. Big round of applause for all the winners. So now the forum is open for the Q&A session. If any questions from the audiences.
तो हम लोग को पता है नाइट्रोजन 400 और 200 किया.
हाँ, ये 500 कहाँ है?
ये कैसे?
वो 400 ही
तो
actually.
500 is 400.
या 400 वो डोजिंग ही 400 की आती है। यार वो 600 mg की होती है, वो सिंगल डोजिंग होती है।
सिंगल डोज भी ले सकते हैं।
जी मैम।
प्रिस्क्राइब करें तो ओरल या वेजाइनल स्पेसिफाई करते हैं, वरना अक्सर
हाँ डेफिनेटली
हाँ सही बात है।
स्पेसिफाई करने के साथ साथ जो वो जो डिस्पेंसिंग पीपल है उनको भी बताना ज़रूरी है, बिकॉज हमारे लिखने के बाद भी वो समटाइम्स कंफ्यूजन कर सकते हैं। क्लोट्रेमॉल में दो कॉम्बिनेशन होता है, क्लोट्रेमाजोल एंड आई गेस टिनिडाजोल और वो एंड यस मैम एंड क्लिंजर फोर्ट पेस्ट्री में 3 कॉम्बिनेशंस होते हैं, क्लोट्रेमाजोल, टिनिडाजोल एंड एजिथ्रोमाइसिन।
मैडम अगर मेट्रोनिडाजोल से
6 nights.
if
6
patient
nights
is allergic
and
to
we have
metronidazole, if patient is allergic to metronidazole, what
tinidazole we can add or secnidazole we can add. एंड वी हैव टू एक्सप्लेन टू द पेशेंट्स कि आपको डिस्चार्ज हो रहा है या आप पेस्ट्री यूज करोगे इन द नाइट टाइम एंड नेक्स्ट डे दिस विल कम आउट, सो वी डोंट हैव टू थिंक कि हमारे दवाई लेने से ज़्यादा बढ़ गया है डिस्चार्ज, बिकॉज द मेडिसिन विल कम आउट नेक्स्ट डे।
You have to explain कहीं भी डिस्चार्ज बढ़ जाएगा जब लगा।
मैं भी शेयर करना चाहता हूँ। करीब 15 साल पहले इंडियन पीडियाट्रिक्स में एक आर्टिकल आया था लिकोरिया पे, लड़कियों के लिकोरिया पे। उसमें ये कहा गया था, उसमें जांच बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं थे, तो ये बोला गया था कि मेट्रोनिडाजोल, एजिथ्रोमाइसिन और सेफिक्सिम और फ्लुकोनाजोल, ये एक आप दे दीजिए इसको, एक दिला दीजिए। हाँ 15 साल पहले इंडियन पीडियाट्रिक्स में
नहीं चारों दवा ये थे।
हाँ चारों ये दीजिए, जो भी होगा।
इसमें तो आते ही है।
अभी इस समय क्या
दवाएं तो होती है।
15 साल पहले का आर्टिकल था।
सर जो किट आती है फास्ट 3 किट,
Fast 3 kit देते हैं।
उसमें यही होता है, फ्लुकोनाजोल होता है, एजिथ्रोमाइसिन 1 ग्राम एंड सेफिक्सिमाइड 2 ग्राम।
एस नामी होता है।
सेफिक्सिम ऐड कर सकते हैं।
एजिथ्रोमाइसिन सेक्रेटोजोल।
अच्छा इसमें डोज क्या रहती है आप जो बता रहे हैं किट में? सिंगल टैबलेट,
15 साल पहले आर्टिकल
सिंगल टैबलेट।
4 टैबलेट्स होती हैं।
4 गोली होती है, सिंगल एक ही बार दे देना है।